begins to crack?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
You know. Hey.
I just want to be clear.
That's exactly what happened.
The only thing I'm clear in is doubting why I have you on this show. Which...
that wasn't me. I'm just confirming what somebody else has already said.
So, welcome to Jarviskjir House of Fair, week 5? Yeah, it is week 5. I typed it in earlier, so I should really remember it. Where we were last time... Well, basically, they're still in a dwarven city. They're trying to steal dwarven secrets. Whether the dwarven party is happy with that, you know, we'll talk about today, because the dwarf wasn't there last week, so we'll really see. We are missing Vale, but that's okay. Who wanted him around anyway, right? So, initiate small talk. Do any of you have anything to discuss before we get going?
Did we finish last week by leaving that place?
Yes.
Is that the assumption?
Yes. Yeah. So, what you did last week... Yeah, we had no Thorak. So, what you did last week, more or less, is you actually did what you came here to do. You are in the dwarven city of the Crimson Mountain, right? You came here to steal the secrets of, more or less, guns. Your elven benefactor was like, what is this thing? And you were like, it's a gun. But you didn't know that because it's a fantasy land and it's all brand new. So the dwarves are making them, and you actually have, last week, Gilwyn, Vale, and Caitlin stole them. Stole them from Smolderback Forge, stole guns, stole the blueprints for guns, and stole fire powder, which is powering the guns. Now, where Thorak was during all of this... well, first of all, let's say, after what happened when they had to boil the bodies, or melt the bodies in the molten metal of the forge, horrible, brutal thing that will probably scar poor Caitlin forever, and Gilwyn's next song might be a little bit more depressing than his last. So, basically after that, you went back to your tavern, to the Lazy Elf Inn. Poor Vale must have inhaled too much smoke because he's not here. But what was more important is what was going on with Thorak. So it's been 2 days. Thorak went to go work for Flamechurl House, or Flamechurl Company. They've said both. They said everything. Flamechurl Clan, you know, whatever they fancy saying. These are the people who are more or less behind the whole gun thing. So, Thorak went to go work with them because after someone died on his watch in the forge, the people who are in charge of the forge, which is Flamechurl House, were like, I like your gumption. You are good. And you basically got hired by them. So, more or less, you went there, had a brief talk with them, and then were escorted down this route where the dwarves were building a tunnel through the mountain range that the city is built in. But they never finished the tunnel. It was being done in secret until they opened into a underground cavern. And inside an underground cavern were all sorts of precious beauties. Not ore, not metal, but magical, bubbling liquid. And when Thorak has this briefly explained that they found this stuff, which in Dwarven is called Korok Karad Manok, but of course you could just refer to it as Karad or Firewater or whatever. It roughly translates to black firewater because dwarves are literal, but there's always subtext. But that's basically what it is. And this was explained to Thorak while he was going there to work there. This has already been going on for some time. Not a year, at least 4 or so months they've been harvesting this stuff and turning it into fire powder. Thorak, your time here was witnessing the process, the alchemical process. They turn this black bubbling liquid that boils with extreme heat, like you looking at it, you feel warm and uncomfortable. They turn it into a powder, and that's the powder that runs the guns. The alchemical process to do so is complicated and confusing and takes an entire laboratory to do so. And your job there was basically managing the people who do it, but you weren't really starting that job yet because you're new here.
Wait. You said I was there for 2 days working on this, so I mastered the entire process and could do it all by myself in a backpack laboratory, right?
You know what? You would have a chance because you've watched the process. But the main thing is like, there is Down here, they call it the Echoing Deeps. It's a huge cavern complex. At the entrance to it is a little makeshift camp / alchemy base / military base, because a group of dwarfs called... what are your names, dwarfs? I want to call them the Siege Shields, are being hired by Flamechild House to protect this place. Because it is basically, if you go into the old mines that are now decommissioned because there's been some political shit going on with the mountain dwarves that they aren't happy about, you could just stumble into this place. You would know you're going into a weird area, and there are fences, and there are walled off, and there's guarded gates, but they don't want anyone, just anyone wandering in. So just Thorak wanders in, and learns of these people, and their little military camp there, and most importantly, you know of the woman in charge named Balthilda, because she's scary. She slightly scares you, Thorak. She is a bald dwarven woman who... most of them don't actually wield the guns because they're too valuable. She definitely does. So, you actually came back at the end of the first day to be like, this is what's going on. And more or less you told them that's what's going on. Now you come back at the end of your second day there, just witnessing what's going on, learning the process, managing these people. And you come back to the Lazy Elf Tavern, a bit lower down in the Crimson Mountain, where you find these two, who look a little shaken up, and there's a smell on them that you may recognize.
Okay, so one, have I had an opportunity to tease Vale about the name of the tavern that we're staying in?
No.
Damn it.
I think he noticed, but he didn't comment on it. If I remember correctly, Vale actually found it funny, which is a little bit probably disappointing to Thorak.
Yeah, that definitely takes a little bit of the thunder away, right? And then two, you said a smell that smells familiar. Are you referring to the gunpowder?
The smell of the forge and the smell of burnt bodies.
Okay, awesome. I love the smell of burning corpses.
Which Thorak knows, you know, familiar to his nose
So I'm walking into the tavern and they're already there, yes?
Yeah, they're at the same table you've usually had. It's out of the way. There are more people here than normal, actually, but still no trouble going on. And it's just evening. Nothing special.
I'll walk into the tavern, kind of hobble my way over to the whatever table they're sitting at, plop myself down.
There he is.
Ah, Thorak. It's good to see you.
This smell. What is this smell? You stink.
Years of therapy. That's what that's... Caitlin, do you want to tell him?
Caitlin actually looks a bit troubled. It's... There's no easy way to say this. It's the smell of burnt flesh. We had to dispose of some bodies, and a forge was the only available method. It was not pretty. But by the way, just as a tip, never ever try to burn a dragonborn. They do not burn well. But she looks visibly troubled, like she's looking down, sort of hands on.
You would notice Thorak immediately. I mean, they're both distressed. Caitlin has significant burns to her outfit, but looks fine. She looks great.
So, this smell on your... you tell me that you go to the forge, and you come across the bodies, and then you burn the dragonborn?
We didn't quite come across them. Our surveyor tried to sneak in and out without alerting anyone, but that wasn't possible.
When last we saw each other, what did I say to you?
I'm sorry, you'll have to remind me. I've had a lot happen in the last couple of hours.
I don't think I said go without me, did I?
No, you didn't. That is quite right. I apologize.
So you go in place that you know nothing about, and you try to sneak around place that you know nothing about, when you have friend that knows everything.
That about sums it up, I think.
Phrased like that, it doesn't sound very good, does it?
I expect better of you, Caitlin. Gilwyn,
I must admit, I got too swept along by Surveil, I fear.
yes, well, what do I say about elves? They're tricky fuckers, yes?
Well, I will leave that. I will leave that alone.
He's pretty fucking hardcore, is what he is.
Well, he's not bad. He's shit, but not bad. Where is he?
He went
I
up
don't
to his
actually know.
rooms.
Okay, there you go.
He
Yeah.
Retired to
disappeared.
his rooms.
He's gone to his room.
Is there something wrong with him?
I don't know.
I think he inhaled a lot of smoke
Acid.
while there. Maybe took a hit or two. I don't think it's anything to worry about. But he didn't. He went straight to his rooms when we got back. He didn't want to stay up, which is possibly a bit concerning. But I'm sure he'll be fine soon.
Well, I still think you two are very stupid. All right, tell me what you find. Tell me, since you do stupid thing, tell me there was benefit.
The plans for the guns, how they are created, is the long and the short of it.
Do you have these plans?
Yes, I do.
On you, now.
No, they're in my room.
And who is watching them?
So Gil, why did you? Okay. We should go and get them. Sorry, I did not realise you'd left them in the room. We should keep those on us at all times.
I had things on my mind and
No, I
people
appreciate
on
that.
my face.
I'm
and
sorry,
in my-
I'm not criticising Sir Gil. I'm just saying we should get those as soon as.
Like now, I wait. Go.
I slide out my chair and go to my room.
Yep, you come back a little later with
Hold on, while he's up there, I turn to Caitlin, and I'd be like, Caitlin, this is not like you. You say you get swept up by Vale. I understand. He's angular face and his tongue of silver. Should be crucified, yes, but why? Why you do foolish thing?
We did not. Obviously, I went there with no intention of getting involved in a fight. That is all I can really use to defend myself with. We were worried, I suppose, that the Dragonborn and the two guards that we had met earlier in the day at the would increase security, which they had. Unfortunately, we hadn't planned for them to already be there. We had expected they might increase security tomorrow, if you see what I mean. And by the time we really realised that, it was a bit late to back out. So we did have. There was a reasoning behind it. Looking back, perhaps not the best reasoning, but we did not do it without consideration.
Do you know of this family? The one that you fuck with? The Flame Churn.
I am not an expert in Dwarven politics or history.
Neither am I. Not around here. I'm not familiar. So let me be plain. They have many gold. Many gold. You think that they wait a day when they think that their gold be taken? If you're home, if someone try to rob your home and you think they may come back, do you think you wait till tomorrow to take precautions?
No, but that's exactly it. That the place that we broke into first was quite separate from the forge. Yes, they were owned by the same people.
Gotcha.
But we thought
I understand.
that perhaps they would certainly increase security at their home. That was no question. But we thought perhaps we might have a small window of opportunity with the forge, and it turns out we didn't. Even then, we did not want to get involved in a fight, but by the time I was truly aware of anything, Sir Vale had been spotted by the Dragonborn, and we had to do something. But even then, yes, it was a rash action. We just did not know when you would be returning, so we chose to make our move. Rashly, perhaps, but...
Is what's his name coming down now?
Yeah, I just sit down.
Okay. This everything? It
Yep.
all here?
Yep.
Good.
Do you want to hold on to this?
What's his Vale? He's a wiry fucker. Perhaps maybe he hold on. He slip away easy at night, and perhaps he the least likely to run back to the Elven Masters with these plans.
I narrow my eyes at that. And what do you propose we do if we are not running back to our Elven Masters, as you say?
Contemplate situation.
I would... yes, perhaps. The danger is, as you have already so succinctly put it, the Flame Churls are not without... are not wanting for money, and they have now been effectively hit twice. I do not know how soon they will become aware of the hit on the forge, but they are obviously well aware of the hit on the penthouse apartment.
If they've got noses, they'll be aware.
This is true.
And they have noses.
We should, if there is no easy way for us to get anything more than this, I propose we should be leaving this city as soon as possible, lest they find us before we leave.
Okay. I get your point, but you know that I'm not. I don't stomach being treacherous to my dwarven kind very easily to the elven cunts. So let us first. Let's see what we have. You have plans, yes?
Slide them across. Yep.
I have a basic understanding of process to actually make the powder. Do we have more examples of these guns?
Yes. I think
Vale took
has a
one.
rifle.
Vale had a rifle, which you can easily take, but I think Vale personally took the pistol as sort of a keep. But the rifle you can just all have at the moment because he's not here. More importantly, you have a sack of fire powder.
Yep. Is there anything else that we might need to accomplish this task?
In an ideal world, we would have some sort of plans or procedure for the fire powder, but that is the only other thing. And I do not think that Lord Agast would begrudge us that. Okay,
now I guess the next question, because none of us really understand the dwarven governments here. So these people, the Flame Churn, how influential are they? These activities, are they illegal or are these okay?
Scott, go ahead and give me a history roll with advantage from what you've had over the last couple of days.
Alrighty, advantage. I like advantage. History with a -1, but advantage. And
Flame Churl, the house is rather public, though you've noticed incredibly new. You actually went to their guild hall, and the thing you noticed there is just you're a dwarf. You noticed you were in there for quite a while. It's an old building for an old house. The house that used to have it has fallen, and they just sort of swept in and are now using it, and they're using it quite actively. Whether any of this stuff is legal or illegal or not, you have no clue. Flame Churl are being quite public, but I mean, when you went into their building, it's not like, hello, do you want to buy some guns? Not even slightly anything like that.
So, here's where I see things. The family, well-known, respected, blah, blah, blah. But maybe these activities not entirely legal, especially with these tasks they've had me do. So, instead of running back to the elves and giving them these secrets, perhaps we should, because the elves, they were looking for a leg up in competition, yes? Perhaps instead of giving them leg up in competition, we make these information known, and either the competition is removed or it hits a free market, and everybody has a chance, especially more dwarven clans.
Firstly, I would point out that I do not know of whether or not the actual production of the guns is legal, but I know at the very least that there is corruption already within this production, given that these things are making their way into the hands of this poachers guild, and it seems that the foreman manager of the forge itself is quite happy to sell these things without permission if you line his pockets enough. I can confirm that much.
That is sales. That does not help.
That's
in
how
any way.
dwarves do.
That is. You get rid of one guy making sales. He take fall. You fire. You execute whatever. But then production still belongs to only one family. Yes. The question is the production the problem? Do we make open for more, or do we only give to elves?
The way I see it, this will come out eventually one way or another anyway. And rather than giving the elves a leg up, as you so described it, firstly, we have no way of knowing whether the elves would even be able to produce these things in the same way as the dwarves. Secondly, we would be at best leveling the field between the elves and the dwarves. That's the way I see it. I will make no.
Only level fields between elves and dwarves, yes, but you do not speak of the gnomes, you do not speak of the humans, you do not speak of the other races. What of them?
I will not hide my alliances. I would give these to the elves and not reveal it in a heartbeat, Sephorak.
Wait, could you repeat that? I'm sorry, you would give it to the elves or what?
I would give these to the elves and none others would be my decision, Sephorak. That is where my allegiance lies.
Yes, I'm fully aware of your allegiance. I'm no fool, and I understand that Gilwyn here is to a degree a man of his word and a respectful one. And I am also understand where his heart lies. Yes, I get this. And I also understand that these elves have our friend Vale by the balls. I get all of this. But I have no allegiance to any, and I have heart nowhere. And my balls are not grabbable. So I come with fresh perspective, yes? Why? Why only to the elves? Why? These are very powerful, yes?
Because we're here because of them.
Sure. And soldiers are on battlefield because orders given. But soldiers still make choices. You do not need to kill a common woman and child just because order is given. You make that decision. You swing that sword.
Are you saying we're soldiers?
I'm saying that we are hired for task, and soldiers are hired for task. Or conscripted in the case of Val, yes?
Being hired for a task means that if we want the reward, we have to complete the task as it was given. For me, the importance of this task is great. This could make the difference between my advancement in Elven society and my not.
Sure.
From my personal perspective, that is what I would choose. Also, I wish to help Aradia as a whole. I wish to advance Elven civilization. From that perspective as well, I would also give it to the elves.
And what of the greater good? No? Do you not care about the others? I mentioned 2 races. What of the orcs? What of the rest? Do they not have opportunity? And your own personal gain here. Well, I not speak of personal gain. I do work, and I'm willing to accept no pay. What of the greater good here? Do you not serve anybody other than yourselves and these elves?
I do not have anything against the other races, and I am sure that in time these secrets will leak out. But my task and my ideals align me with Aradia. The other races, although I would not begrudge them it...
This is all fancy way of saying no. This is all fancy way of saying no. Gilwyn, please. I respect you deeply as a man.
I was given a job. I was given a rope, a stick, some gold on the end of that rope. And I was told, if I do this, I get that. And
Sure.
that's why I aim to do.
And so we give two sides of these two countries. They touch, yes. So we give both sides big weapons and hope things work out.
I hope I give the weapons and I get the gold at the end. The alternative, if you, as you so suggest, handing these weapons to the greater good, as you say, is that everyone gets weapons that they potentially are ill-suited to handle. What happens when every race clashes in that way?
Now you bring up the central point of why I say all this. Perhaps maybe our task is not to share these secrets with anybody, but instead to share them with nobody.
I do not see where you are coming from. The dwarves already know of this. We cannot wipe out this.
Yes.
Now.
They know of complicated process, but have you seen this shit? You cannot memorize this. This is too complicated. You could easily sabotage.
You could sabotage the knowledge of an entire clan, Sephorak?
No, the knowledge of the plans.
Thorak, give me another history roll with advantage.
Please, thank all. 1 second, please. Ugh, garbage.
You know that like you're thinking about that, saying that like sabotage the process, and maybe some point in your mind like sabotage the Echoing Deep where they're getting this stuff, and like something was told to you in passing by one of the guards, and you don't remember what it is, but it would have been important. It's one of those. What's that thing? It's definitely you've got that right now.
Gotcha. I sit there and so more or less like I say this, and as you speak, I'm kind of like introverted. So say whatever you're gonna say, please, Arvine. But I'll be introverted at the moment. Like I'm kind of like half listening.
At the end of it all, I do not see it making a huge difference whether Sorry, I'm going to start that again. That's completely thrown where I was in this conversation. I appreciate that is a noble cause, Sephorak. These are clearly strange weapons of potentially great power. However, I do not believe that such a process, even if it was sabotaged, would be lost forever. There will be someone with memories of it, someone who tries to recover it. Rather than doing that, I would give it to the people that I trust and admire the most, for my own benefit and for theirs. And eventually, I have no doubt, it will become widespread. But for the time being, I will do best for what is.
Yes, I understand. These elves, they're very well known for sharing secrets. Yes, 3, 4, 5,000 years, maybe. Yes, very well known for sharing secrets. I understand. I'm with, how do you put it? Servant, slave, and mercenary right now. I get that, but I'm asking you to see above your position as a servant for a moment and see the greater good of things. These weapons are you give to a child, and child do damage that wizards take years and years and years to master. You give this to child, and child can wreak havoc. Give it to many children, and many children wreak havoc. And I see these kind of weapons in the hands of any race for the first time. They like children, no matter the age. no matter the experience, no matter the wisdom. And like child, they know shared toys very well. No?
Trying to halt the progress of something like this is near impossible, Sephorak. Even if you were to sabotage this, it is not going to stay buried.
Are we absolutely certain that these are the only plans?
Exactly.
I do not think these are the
Give
only
me
plans.
a perception real quick, Mr. Gilwin.
I do still say, I do not think these are the only plans.
You are almost 100% sure this isn't the real plans. These are... Someone has shown someone plans, and these are hastily copied versions, basically. So they're not even as good as real plans. You could make weapons from them, but they're not. They're missing a lot of the nuance, right? So, you know these aren't the real plans. And you already know, more or less, just giving you knowledge that you do know, Flamechurl House hired that forge. They probably figured out how to make the guns way first.
These aren't the only plans. This isn't
Yes.
the root of the problem.
I agree with you, which is why I say we dig. You dig into soil to find a root. Yes, you do not just pull weed. Weed grows back. The roots grow very, very deep, and I do not suggest we pluck weed and hope that this makes things better. I also do not think, much like weeds, that we carry them like the wind across to different lands that these weeds may grow elsewhere. I say that we dig, and we be smart with what we've discovered and try to kill things at the root. But it
So
seems
you
as though I am...
propose-
Please.
So you propose to find every potential copy of these plans, anyone who has any idea of these plans, and eradicate them all.
You seem to have this idea that I think that I'll be the only one participating in this, so that perhaps just the four of us will be able to do it. That is foolish, to say the least. We need to find others that do not like the way that things are going, and to get them to assist us in this cause.
Such as?
Damn it! Sorry. My headset died. I'm gonna switch back to the other ones. I didn't get to charge them after being in Maine. I forgot that I used them up there.
Damn it!
Hold
Damn
on.
it! Frank goes quiet again, thinking.
It's because I lost power and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Being out on a lake.
My really professional show
Sides
where
and sides.
the party's been discussing
for
whether
it,
to not
and
to do their
we
job for 40
are-
minutes.
Good to go. Sorry about that.
So,
Nope. Still
people.
muted. God damn it. Skype, privacy. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yo. Microphone and there we go. Now I gotcha.
Cool.
Others who are against this, such as Sephorak, do you have any leads on this? Or are you just proposing ideals without any grounds for them?
Perhaps closer to the second and the first. Yes, admittedly. I'm not saying that this plan is a foolproof plan. Yeah, no. I get what I'm asking here. I'm just saying that how many times in life do you get opportunity to make the right decision instead of the wrong one, especially when they are so plain and simple in front of you. I will not how do you say, undercut the group. If you all are saying we must do this, then very well, I will go along with the plan. I will begrudgingly do so, and I think I just better understand the kind of people that I am traveling with right now.
I will not deny that your idea has merit, but I think it impractical, and it is too much of an unknown. There is too much that you are assuming or hoping for without any real grounds. On the other hand, the laws that I wish to obey, the good that I wish to do, has a clear route to it, and that clear route is to return with our spoils to Lord Agast. That would be my choice. And I do not begrudge you your opinions, Sephorak. It is good to debate, but on this, I cannot agree with you.
Yes, I understand. From the first moment, the way you dress, the way you speak, everything about you, you worship the elves, you wish you were one. I understand, and I do not mean with this with judgment. I think it's foolish, but I get that you're only human, and so you look up. I understand this, but very well. Like I said, I will not fight the curve on this one. I will go along. It's just very disappointing that prior views of the world block vision as opposed to fresh eyes with each passing day. Perhaps it's just that you and I have different life experience, and so we see things differently. And beyond that, I will not deny that you specifically give to the elves, and that disgusts me in pretty much every way possible. We'll be talking about orcs. Probably feel the same way, but it's maybe different about gnomes. Yes? You could trust a gnome with a gun. No? He says, like, obviously trying to
the joke
spark
falls
a jest,
on flat ears.
Caitlin is quite unamused by most of what he's just said.
So, Thorak, 1, you want nobody to have this, or 2, you want everybody to have this? What's your point?
The former more than the latter, but both are better than the other.
Once something has been discovered, it is very difficult to undiscover it. That is all I was saying on that matter. I do not. Your goal is an admirable one, Sephorak. I will not deny that. You are hoping to rid the world of something that could cause great damage in any hands, let alone the wrong hands. I will not deny you that. I just think that what you are saying here is impractical, and even if we were to temporarily achieve it, it would not stay that way.
Could you remind me really quickly, Ollie, the name of the city?
This is called the Crimson Mountain.
No, my city, where I'm from.
You are from Copperbeard's Hold, you figured out, right?
The where I was created.
Oh, Lichvale.
I will push point only one last time, Caitlin, and then we will drop issue for good, and I will quietly walk along with you, and we will deliver the information. Yes, Lichvale. What do you know of Lichvale?
History rolls. Gilwyn and old. Kate. For some reason, I went to Gilwyn first, even though you were talking to Caitlin, because
everyone goes to Gilwyn first.
It's true. You're just way lovable.
Ah,
Caitlin, you've been to Lichvale. A long time ago. It's a booming human city, right? But then you did hear rumors not to go there anymore. And that was when you were in... Even before you lived in Aradia, not to go there anymore. You never really figured out why. Apparently now you can go there again, but you know of the place.
I know of it, Sephorak. It was certainly a booming town, but at one point I went there with my family. We traded there, and then for a period we were warned off it, although that seems to have faded recently. Do you know something about that we don't?
Do you not know the stories of what has happened in Lichvale?
I only know what I heard on the road, which is that it was not a safe place for us to travel to anymore. We did not inquire further, or I did not inquire further. I was still young at that time.
Then, sadly, the stories that I suppose, anecdote that I'd like to use would fall equally deaf, telling dwarven joke to elven ears, much like before. So I shall save. I shall save my breath. I think Gil will at least get that joke.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah. It doesn't change
Well-
it.
The world has found its place for all sorts of arcane power. The world has found its place for dwarves. The world has found its place for me, for my people, for the elves. The world will find a place for these pistols. It's not going to be end times.
Yes, no, I get this. I get this. We could continue talking, and I will many times bring up the suffering of the poor innocents that will take place because of these. But then you will say progress, and I'll say suffering, and you'll say progress, and I'll say suffering, and it is not worth it. A decision has been made. I do not have the means or the I suppose, fortitude to turn against my companions. I see where your heart lies. I understand this. We shall go forward, and I will bite my tongue.
I would say, Sephorak, I do not like to force a decision upon you like this. I realise you're uncomfortable, but so even though we disagree on this, I hope that this won't come between us, because I have a great deal of respect for you, and I think your opinion here is important.
No. I understand, Caitlin. I knew long before this conversation where your loyalties lied. I'm no fool. Again, the way you dress, the way you speak, I get all this. I'm no fool. You are a woman of honor, and you have sworn oath to these people, I imagine. And so you are upholding your oath and doing what you think is the right thing. The fact that I think differently, that is, we are two minds. This is why not everybody get married, yes?
I will smile wryly about it. Thank you, Sephorak. It is reassuring.
And he will go to take a long draw from his flask, realize it's empty, cuss about it in Dwarven, and then go up to the counter to have his flask refilled.
Shit whiskey.
To have his flasks refilled.
Yep. Is that all for the evening? Imagine there's not much else to discuss.
I imagine Vale needs some time to finish resting before the four of us will get up and start traveling, because we have everything we need as far as we understand.
You don't really want to leave during the night, is the thing.
Yeah. I would certainly be getting up.
We don't want
and
to
going
stay
to bed
either
after that conversation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, bedtime. You'll sleep a lovely night. Well, I mean, two of you sleep. Things, you wake up again, smoggy, gross city. It's not raining, but it's one of those days where there's like wetness in the air, and like walking around is just uncomfortable. The tavern is again like a little busier than before, actually, but you have everything you wanted, right? You're ready to head back.
Yep.
Do you head back?
Yeah. There's, again, assuming Vale's joining us, like if Vale's not coming, we're
Vale
not
is,
leaving.
is in a state of plot-related limbo right now, but I can't be bothered to think of a solution to, because I don't know how.
Well,
long he
can tag along and just not be himself, right?
Yes,
Right?
he
And
is.
I think
Vale is
he's
not going to
already
be
said
left
that.
here.
Yeah. I think he's already said in chat that he very much, he didn't hear 4X arguments, but.
Oh, he was Team Elves.
But he was for returning them because he's, again, as I described them, there's the servant, the slave, and the mercenary.
Yeah, you already know that Vale is basically here to get out of a prison sentence, which
of course.
He's an elf. That might be several hundred years.
Mm-hmm.
Or death. So, casual. So...
Actually, before we leave, could I do a tiny bit of shopping and look for, like, a small, like, leather tube to put a piece of parchment in?
Sure, that wouldn't be much. That would probably be like, 2 silver, maybe?
Okay. Can I buy 2 of those?
Mm-hmm.
Put the plans in one and put my other parchment in the other one.
Okay, cool. You're making basically, they look the same, one of them's real, one of them's fake.
No. I just carry this parchment with me at all times, and I've realised that I've not put it in a tube yet.
Well, that makes sense. Sure. So, if there's no issues, you straight head back. Well, the main question is, do you stop back in on Rathold on your way back. The town where you met the Mason.
The town where
Frada.
The town where I embarrassed myself.
Yes, the town where you embarrassed yourself, Rathold. Do you stop back there, or do you take a wide berth around it? It's one of those things. It would be a slight diversion, but it's mostly on the route, and the benefit would be, again, you can actually spend a couple of coin and spend a night in a bed on the way back, which is way nicer. And you can stop in to see Frada if you want, or anyone there, or
I
Oxhorn.
want to see her as well.
Yeah, I see. I don't need the coin bed BS or whatever, but definitely stop in to see her and just kind of like return those 2 slabs and offer some. Sorry, and then make some requests on like changes to them, or seeing if those other things that she was working on are done, which they probably aren't yet. But more or less, just kind of like, hey, could you like etch these marks into these? Yeah. Don't worry about what they mean. Just etch these markings, unless the gauntlets are done.
Basically, you go back to Rathold. It's more or less a day of travel to get there, so it's like, oh, walk. Unless you want to buy horses, but the only person I think who got a significant amount of money from this time is Vale, because Vale stole from the penthouse when he was leaving. So, more or less, you walk, but near the end of the day, near the evening, you stop in to see Frada. More or less, it's just quite happy to see you, and it's like, oh, of course, I can do that for you. See this real, and it does show you she's not quite finished, because this is very delicate work, trying to make gauntlets out of stone that they don't need to be completely mobile, right? She understands why you need them more as just a way of carrying the stone around with you, but she doesn't want them to be entirely. She wants to make them good work, and she's like, oh, that's absolutely fine, I can do that. And she's like, Gilwyn, I sold that statue of you. Sold like
Really?
a pretty penny, yeah.
Why am I surprised? It's me.
He was very fond of it, to say the least.
How much did you? Sorry, this is a bit rude of me, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's me. How much did you earn from that?
Give me a persuasion roll, you know. A lady never tells. But she might tell. She's like, well, let's just say it was one of my more deluxe models. So, at least 2,000 gold.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was, like I said, rich noble boy. Absolutely loves the fair men, so seeing you, thought he'd like that. So,
do I not get a cut because it was?
Oh, I remember I'm doing this for your cut. And actually, that was the deal. So she's kind of like, well, really, actually,
Not even a little nibble, nothing.
No
This is what
cut for the
happens
uncut.
Hey!
she's just kind of like, ha, meh.
Fine.
And that's really like, again, that's the gist of the conversations. Yeah, I'm doing it. Not done yet. If you're ever in the neighborhood, I can hand it to you. I'll store it for you. Yeah, I can engrave these things on you. What do I mean? Oh, you're not going to tell me? Fine, I actually get this request very often. As long as it doesn't start glowing, she's willing to do it, right? Do you do anything else in Rathold? Do you try and find Oxhorn? You don't really have a reason to, but you could if you wanted.
So go ahead, I'll let him first.
As we leave the place, I sort of like walk by Thorak and I go, "You owe me 1,000 gold." Like, don't stop, squat, talk to him, and then leave.
I say no. I had a quip, but I won't say it because it's just going to perpetuate the elven conversation. There's no need to that. All right. So after he like walks out and she etched it into one of the 2 slabs, or she etched it into the slab, I'm kind of like, no, you missed a part here. You were supposed to put it right here as well. Here, and I like traced my finger where it was that she was supposed to finish putting the markings in there. But as I traced my finger doing so, all of a sudden markings come into the stone itself. Like as I'm tracing my finger, instead of like it happening on its own, I'm like, oh,
Is that a new power?
Never mind.
There.
I do not.
let me know when you're finished.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll be heading back to the east here. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Like just kind of like
exactly.
walk away like, oh.
Cool, great. Yep. So
Dean walked away, so I couldn't share it with him.
So you sleep, well, two of you sleep again. Haha.
I forgot there's sleeves. That's twice.
How do you just forget to wear sleeves?
How often do you wear a cloak, Ollie?
Alright, valid. Not as much as I want to. So, you sleep, but then you keep traveling for a while. Just three of you give me a standard survival roll. You really can't fuck up unless you roll a 1. It's just kind of like how quickly are you going to travel
jinx it.
through this.
Do you remember, Ollie? You said this to the Regent's Blade on Monday, that the athletics roll was nearly impossible to fail. And
Oh yeah! That's true. I shouldn't... it's only when you say it do people fail.
Oh, thank God.
So, no surprise, Forak is the slowest of all of you. By now you actually know that, so you don't really give him much trouble. And it's one of those things, if you actually did go, he would kind of like speed up a bit. But, you know, the thing with Forak is he doesn't tire, so...
Can I lag back and just talk to Forak a sec?
Sure, talk to Forak. You're travelling on the road, still Dwarven lands.
Am I far enough away that if I speak at normal volume, they wouldn't catch much, or should I...
Yeah, let's say Caitlin and Vale are comparing weaponry real quick.
Okay. So, like, how do you not smell?
Effort.
Effort. But things that aren't supposed to be exposed are exposed, and yet you just smell like a dwarf. It's not the best smell, but you don't smell like...
I would add he smells worse than the average dwarf.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
They kind of, that's all just a smell you don't know. But again,
But
he
not
doesn't
as
smell
bad as a
horrible.
dwarf with the heads in the pikes.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
Oxhorn smelled worse then.
Yeah.
But it's mostly the bucket though. The bucket smelled bad.
I've had plenty of time to get acclimatized to dead, and you don't smell like dead.
Well, effort.
Okay, walk away.
Alright. With that, we're going to take our first break of the session. Yes, an entire part, mostly of the team being like, should we do this? Should we don't? And you know, it's important.
Absolutely. It
Let
was
the
a question of
allegiance
morality
sit.
and alignment.
Oh yeah, we need this all set up for foreshadowing for when Forak inevitably betrays you all. So,
There's some nice tension. It was good.
we'll be back in a couple of minutes with part 2. See ya.